So back in the 1950s, yeah, specifically 1951, there was a psychologist named Solomon Asch. And what Asch did, he ran an experiment which is still one of the most repeated studies in that field. It was literally a simple setup. He were to show someone a line, then three comparison lines, and you are to ask which one matches the original one. It was just you are supposed to give an obvious answer, no trick to it. Except the participant was sitting in a room with several other people who were secretly in on the experiment. And those people had been told to confidently give the wrong answer out loud before the real participant had to answer. You know, I mean, alone, people got it right basically every time, and the errors were rarely even under 1%. But sitting in the room, watching everyone else confidently say the wrong line, about 75% of participants went along with the incorrect answer at least once. On average, roughly a third of their answers across the whole set of trials conformed to a group that was simply obviously wrong. Now, come on, guys. None of these people were stupid here. None of them were weak. They were just ordinary people, just like you and me. They were in a room doing what humans have always done when the group disagreed with their eyes. And that instinct that each and every one of us has wasn't a designed flaw. Most of hum and we know most of the human history, disagreeing with the group carried real risk, right? Getting cast out of a small band meant losing access to protection, to food, or even to survival itself. Trusting the group's read on a situation over your own most of the time kept you alive longer than insisting on being right alone. And the instinct got built in. That instinct got built in because it worked for a very long time under very different stakes than the ones we live in under now. You know, and here is where it turns into a trap instead of a survival tool. Actually, the stakes today are rarely agree or get cast out of the tribe or to die. Right? They're actually even smaller. They are more quieter and even more frequent. Somebody will tell you like agree with the popular opinion in a meeting or risk looking ridiculous. Repeat that take that's already circulating instead of the one you actually worked on yourself. Or go along with the decision. You're supposed to go along with the decision, even you privately think is wrong because everyone else in that room already seemed settled on it. I mean, the ancient wiring fires the exact same way it did for arch participants. Even though the actual cast of disagreeing most of the time now is basically nothing. The same wiring is the same. I think to be honest, and the uncomfortable part of this is that knowing about the experiment doesn't make you immune to it. It's like you being self-aware of things and thinking that you're already one step ahead of anybody else. Nah, nigga, you're still here playing this game. That's not how it works. You can understand conformity bias perfectly well in theory and still feel your own certainty soften soften up the moment three people in the room confidently disagree with you. I mean, I'm a big person of this. I have every day, bro. I second guess myself because of this instinct. And I think again, I think the instinct doesn't check whether if you have already read psychology, you know, first, or you are self-aware, or that you have clarity, or you know to decipher things. What the experiment does give you though is something specific to watch for. It's like you have a sixth sense in you. You need to watch for that. It's like a felt kind of sense. It's inside your own body, right? And you feel it shifting not because you found a better argument, sindio, but because everyone around you already seemed to agree with the opinion that they're agreeing on, even though you don't agree with it. You feel it inside, and that's the signal actually. Okay, it's not that am I wrong? That's not the signal. Am I wrong? No, that's not. Or telling yourself, but did I actually change my mind? Or did the room change it for me? That's not the signal here. You usually feel it even before, bro. And Art also found something that feels left out of most of his retelling of his experiment. And it might be the more useful part here. And what he said is that if you add just one other person to the room, also who also gives the correct answer, the actual real answer, it's like adding one single dissenting voice, even if it's a stranger with no stakes in it. At that point, conformity drops dramatically. Everybody starts thinking if you know nobody needed a majority to break the spell here. They just needed exactly one other person willing to say what they actually saw. You know, that's a smaller, more achievable job than actually saying to yourself that being the lone rational voice against an entire room. That's ridiculous, man. And most of the time, all it takes is being the second person to say the true thing out loud, so that the first person doesn't have to stand there alone, second guessing themselves and having to confirm with the majority here. And on this, I'd say that guys, we usually imitate the three architects. We imitate the ones in power. We imitate the ones who are closest to us, our family, our friends and peers, our spouses, and we also imitate the many, the majority. And this is where most of us actually fall into the majority. I mean, guys, come and see. I'd say this at the end of this video is that the same wiring that made people confirm in that experiment back in the 1950s is the same wiring sitting in everyone watching this video, and for me too, as I'm recording it right now. And I'd say this, it's not going anywhere, and it's not something to be ashamed of. I mean, literally, guys, it kept our ancestors alive. You know, the only real move available is catching it while it's happening. That's like if you're having a sixth sense in you, right? Instead of only recognizing it afterwards. Once the rooms already decided for you. Anyways, thank you guys for watching.